Have you all ever spent 3 hours on hair and makeup and then absolutely loved it? Hi ugly, it's me, Bussy, and welcome back to Hats or Rats. Today we are reviewing episode 10, the finale of Canada's Drag Race. All the queens were brought back for one last runway. Coronation Eleganza, and a queen was crowned. Without further ado, let's get into the looks. First up, Juice. She does a body good. Juice was really interesting because we really didn't get a lot out of her. She was our first eliminated, and then the judges really railed into her on that first day, causing her to have a panic attack on stage. She lip-synced against Lemon, and now here we are. She's wearing this really beautiful gown that's kind of reminiscent of like a Fabergé egg almost. It's got this really beautiful little like baby blue kind of cross hatch on the top part of the gown, and then it moves down to this like almost reminiscent of like a peacock feather type pattern with some brown and gold. At least those are the colors it looks like. To me, y'all know I'm a little bit colorblind, so girl, it could be any color under the sun, who knows. It ends in a little bit of an ostrich feather moment at the bottom. Is this on brand for Juice? I have no idea. We really know nothing about her. I mean, compared to her first look, the only other time she hit the runway, this is miles and miles above what we saw from Juice. Had she been able to showcase this level of elegance and excellence on the runway, she probably could have gone a lot further. I think the design challenge really is kind of a crapshoot because, you know, you're pulling in this skill that not a lot of queens actually have, like being able to construct a look, build a gown out of materials that are given to them. I mean, it's such an arbitrary way of measuring whether someone is a good drag queen. It makes for great TV, absolutely. But I mean, there have been plenty of queens over the years who throw something together with a hot glue gun and it looks great, or they actually are seamstress and then they can't make anything out of what they've been given. I think in the future, the Drag Race franchise should maybe consider saving that design challenge for like episode 2 or 3 instead of hitting them with it on day 1, because allowing the queens to do like, for example, a best drag on day 1 really would like set the standard for who they are as a queen. If she had brought this out on day 1, I would have been gagged and a half. That's just my 2 cents. She didn't leave on such a sweet note, but tonight, her box is squeezable. It's hot. Speaking of design challenges, shooting these queens in the foot. I thought the old lady dropped it in the ocean. Next up is Kyne. Did anyone else think of Titanic when they saw this? I don't know, something about it. Maybe it's just that it looked kind of like a grandma gown. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't like this at all. I really don't, I'm sorry. Do I think she looks pretty? Yes. Is it a well-constructed gown of the type of gown she has made? Yes. But girl, we all make choices, and that was not the choice. That was not the, oof. This is a great coffin gown because it really hides like a lot of your body. Those dramatic shoulders give you a little bit of life, like when you're in the box, you know, you're kind of like that. And as long as you like didn't die from like a chest wound or anything, this could be it. Yeah, I'm not trying to be hateful or anything. I just don't think there's anything modern about this gown. And it just further confuses me on who I thought Kyne was or could have been. I don't know. I guess I just saw her as like a disco queen or something. And now I just see her as a 90s queen, but not the decade, the age. I just think in particular, this look on such a young queen really ages her. She could have done something that is a nod to this era, but then brought it into a more fashionable sense. Even if she had just left the little shoulder jacket off, I think it would have been leagues better. However, it's really the whole package. It's the florals, it's the satin fabric, it's the hair. Is this the same hair from that Ursula thing? Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. For me personally, it's a rot. It's pretty in its own sense. Her makeup is gorgeous. It's just not for me. But maybe it's for you or your grandma. Next up, I don't remember eating bugles. Y'all, I am Game of Thrones gagging over this one. This is the dragon sitting on her pile of gold, and she was sitting on the gold so long that the gold became her scales. She was breathing fire and just like melted it all into her skin, and then she hit the runway. This is drop dead gorgeous. She's got on some like 4 or 5 inch little like nail rings like this, but like 3 times longer. This for me is a total departure, again, from who I thought Anastarzia was. I love when a queen comes onto the runway and totally just surprises us, gives us something out of way left field, something we would never expect. Her most notable moment on the runway is that little hair thing where half of it was Cousin It and the other half was like Chun-Li's grandpa. So thank God she like wiped our minds clean of that, freshened our palate, and gave us something to gag over. And so it is kind of a departure from that pageantry world that Anastarzia thrives in, but it also isn't, because it is a gorgeous gown, just with a more modern and like stylistic flair. Tonight, all the glitters is gold. This is a hot. Next up, is that a bun on her head, or is she just happy to see the judging panel again? It's Tynomi Banks. She does look gorgeous in this. She's got on some huge buns all around her head and in some really beautiful braids coming down both sides of her face. It frames her face really, really well. The oversized buns and in general big hair on drag queens is always going to help with the face silhouette and kind of shrink in all those manly features a little bit. Gorge, gorge, gorge. The dress itself isn't my personal favorite, but I think it looks really good on her. She's accessorized it very well. The tulle is really pretty. It gives a lot of shape to her body. She does also have a little bit of a breast moment happening, so it's not totally flat up top, which is a really smart thing to do and balance out the poofiness of the gown around the waist. Tynomi was a queen, I will say, from day one. I believe everyone expected to go super far in the competition just based off that promo look alone, and then of course her name being who she is. I believe she's quite famous in Canada. And then she walked into the competition and she's wearing this very basic little like dancer cat suit. Then the next couple looks were like the RuneScape look, the hair look, which had no shape at all. And then when she left, she was wearing the recycled materials paper night dress. We really didn't get to see a lot of who Tynomi was. So this is really nice to see her have a little moment on the runway in this multi-tiered, almost kind of like a bridal cake stacked gown. This look for me is hot. Before we go any further, I just want to stop and say thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying, don't forget to press a like, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and to remind you that you can find exclusive videos like lip sync reactions and all of my deleted YouTube videos over on my Patreon. That's patreon.com/BussyQueen. Click the link in my description to check it out and join today. It's called Fashion Darling. Look it up. Kiara has finally met her. I was shook. I was like, wait, who was that? Are you joking? Are you joking? Are you joking? This is fabulous. Something about it is reminding me a little bit of Christian Soriano, his time on like Project Runway. I believe he was really into like feathers on gowns and creating silhouettes similar to this. This is something that you put on that little twiggy body, something with a lot of its own shape. And then that clothes hanger figure can kind of just absolutely show off whatever the clothing is. This is how she should have been dressing herself the entire competition. This is a total departure. This looks like so expensive. Maybe she made it herself, maybe she bought it, I don't know, but it looks great on her. And we do see her again in a very flat hair, but I'm actually not mad about the flat hair here in this particular look, especially because she has accessorized it with a little headpiece that actually drapes across her face as well. The only thing that I would change about this look is going to be the shoes. She has on some red patent pleasers, and you know, while they do give you that extra like 6 or 7 inches sometimes in the case of pleasers on the runway, which can be very powerful, I think a much more elegant shoe would have worked for a gown like this. You don't need to wear, you know, the stripper shoe with something that looks like it costs $10,000. Regardless, this look is red hot. Next up, ball gowns on arrival. It's boa. I saw this and I was instantly like, yeah, that's boa. It's simple, but it's effective. I love it. I love it. I really do. She looks great in this gown. As always, she has got that body yaddy right. She has consistently shown us throughout the competition that she knows how to proportionize. Even when the looks weren't actually that great, her hair, makeup, and body always were. I think the slick back silver hair is really gorgeous on her face shape as well. It's accessorized well. My only improvements that I would suggest for this gown, I want it to be a little bit more like poofy at the bottom. It's cute and it kind of hits the floor, but I want even more drama. Maybe like another foot of train going behind her to just add a little bit more elegance. I think I also would love, maybe it's the lighting and we can't see it, but a little bit of sparkle on the titties, or maybe just something a little bit larger around the neck, because it does look very obvious that she has that breastplate on. Part of it I think is the skin color doesn't quite match her face makeup that she's using. However, it's really great to see her sort of turn that around and give the judges kind of, I think, what they were really looking for, a little more glamour, or at least the ability to showcase that she does have that in her closet. I was so happy to see that she queened up her act. This look is hot. Next up, a very serious look from Ilona Verley. She has chosen to bring her indigenous culture right onto the runway, something she spoke up about quite often through the entire competition. I am getting some information on this gown and this look from her Instagram post that she did right after this aired. She's talking about and missing Indigenous women, which is a big problem in Canada. So I think it's really cool that she was able to bring some recognition to such a serious topic on the Drag Race runway. The movement and all the fringe, the colors cascading down the bottom part of the dress, the blue contrasting the pink on the little tights that she has underneath it are all really beautiful touches. I love the feather on top as well. The only thing that I would change maybe is that the hair that she chose for this. I think doing a darker natural hair color or even a pink or red to match some of those tones in the gown maybe would have made more sense. I think it's really gorgeous that she was able to have her own little heritage moment on the show. I think she looks hot. Big Bird's little chickadee is all grown up. Next on the runway is Lemon. This is immediately so on brand and perfect for Lemon. I think the hair with those paler roots fading into that darker yellow color in that little netted bun up top with all the swirls and jewels is so beautiful and perfect. I love how much volume is in that hair as well. It really just frames her face so well. This is kind of like an adult version of the little toddlers and tiaras look that she did for the pageant runway. It's also a direct nod to and fits in perfectly with the sort of hallmark Lemon pieces that we saw throughout the show. Not only her promo, but her entrance and a couple of things that we saw throughout the season. To this runway, Lemon has brought more than the judges, and I think every single casual viewer could have possibly wanted from her. It is absolute perfection. This is top tier Lemon. She is so ripe. She looks cute, petite, sweet to eat, and I definitely can tell that it's citrus season. She looks hot. Next up, the real winner of Canada's Drag Race. Just kidding, it's just her joke. It's Jimbo. She's giving us this like Candyland fantasy, which I absolutely live for. Wow. It's kind of funny because you know the huge giant like tulle poncho thing that she has over her body is going to be a reveal and you really don't know what it's going to reveal to, but it makes you so excited and she does not at all disappoint. Everything is there. The hallmark big old breasted Jimbo is there. I love the little hip accessories giving extra shape to her waist. They're like those little like strip of flags that you'll see at like parades and festivals, all in like this bright rainbow latex material. This I think is the perfect cherry on top of everything that Jimbo did the entire season of Drag Race. She consistently showed us that she can bring fully realized characters to the competition, not only in the runway, but on challenges like Snatch Game with her Joan Rivers. I mean, time after time. She really did it on the runway tonight. This is a gag. It is so hot. Next up, Soylent Queen is here. Rita Baga. She looks so crazy on the runway. I think a lot of people maybe were confused that she did this green paint, and thank God that Michelle Visage wasn't judging on this panel, because girl, we know that probably would not have gone over so well, especially considering that Michelle probably wouldn't have had context for Rita being like a drag alien or whatever. Again, like I've said in the past few episodes of my show, I was kind of missing that extraterrestrial element that Rita Baga showed us in the promo and entrance look. It was something that she, I think, maybe had the idea to do, but then failed to carry out throughout the different runways. I was like, where is the alien? It was kind of like trying to find a UFO in real life. It's like, you hear about it, but then you never see it, and you're like, it probably doesn't exist. Okay, I'll stop looking. And then she comes out in this, and it's a total gag and a half. And maybe she was trying to just show more versatility throughout the show, but this is what I was expecting on like every single runway because she set the bar so high in the beginning. This gown looks so heavy, expensive, cumbersome, ridiculous. She kind of looks like if you combine Padme and then Jabba the Hutt. This type of insane out-of-the-box stuff is why I watch and why I love Drag Race, because of the intense artistry that goes into making looks like this. This is absolutely out of this world and totally hot. Next up, this was a safe choice, don't you think? Miss Bobo, Miss Bobo. As I said in my last episode, I am always so amazed at how well this woman can paint her face. There is not a more gorgeous mug on Canada's Drag Race. Y'all can fight me on that. I think this is a top tier mug across the entire Drag Race franchise. Not many people end up with this much polish on their makeup, and good God, it's gorgeous as always. She has some little like beauty marks on her cheeks. They give her that kind of clown fantasy. The red hair, of course, acknowledging her name, Scarlett. Everything there is very signature Bobo. You know exactly who you're looking at. The outfit itself is kind of reminiscent of like a little like circus tent almost, kind of cascading around her body. The only thing I was confused about was when I saw this on the runway, I was like, this kind of looks like two pieces. And then I saw the lip sync and I was like, oh, that's because it is 2 pieces. It's basically like a little detachable skirt dress thing that goes around this very performable catsuit, which was very smart on her part to do something like that for this final runway because she knew she was gonna have to lip sync. However, at that same time, I'm not sure it was the best idea to sacrifice wearing something totally drop dead gorgeous on this final runway. Because while I do think the gown is pretty, I think something about it also just feels very like, all the black on the outfit I think ends up kind of shrinking her and making her sort of disappear into the background. And then the nude illusion isn't quite the color of her skin, it's a little bit darker. So those are a couple of misses there. And yeah, she does look very pretty and this is a great look. I do think it's hot. I just think for Coronation Eleganza, you don't take that risk with something that is going to be a tearaway because this just doesn't stand up to, I think, what we have seen Scarlett do on the runway or even what a lot of the rest of the queens are actually wearing tonight. Next up, what is her name? Her name is the winner of Canada's Drag Race. This is somebody that I, from day one, acknowledged as having charisma. If anyone has the charisma, oh my God, it's Priyanka. She deserves the crown, I think, for that reason alone, and I think that is the reason that she won. Drag Race is picking somebody to represent their franchise for a year, and honestly, much longer than that, because now I know these queens are signing like contracts that tie them into future obligations, spin-offs, tours, etc. So really, like, they're looking at this top 3 and they're trying to pick somebody that is not only going to represent the brand, make the fans happy, and also be able to fulfill future obligations. I think Priyanka is the perfect storm of all those things. She's the whole P for package. And that isn't to say that I don't think Rita or Scarlett was also deserving. I'm just trying to give you guys maybe a different perspective on why Drag Race might have chosen Priyanka. It's not necessarily the case that the person with the most wins should win, because this show ultimately does want to please its fans. As much as the edits on this season in particular make it seem like they don't, they actually do. They have a vested interest in making people happy. As for what she's wearing, beautiful, gorgeous. We did see her acknowledge her heritage throughout the competition. In particular, I'm thinking of that little like Bollywood inspired pageant dress she wore. That was the first time that when Priyanka hit the runway, I was like, she can do glamour. And this is another one of those times when I see a queen in a gown like this, oh my God, she looks gorgeous. I think she's also a great representation for the up and coming class of gays, if you will. She's somebody who has this storyline of not even coming out to your dad, but at the same time is one of the most relatable and comfortable in her skin contestants of the entire competition. I can't imagine that there is a better way to come out to your dad than by saying, I'm gay and I just won an international drag competition. And Henny, Priyanka's dad is gonna have no choice but to stand. Priyanka, the name we will never forget, and it is my honor to give her, on my show, her final hot. As for the remix, wow, the queens really brought it there. In my personal opinion, I think Priyanka's verse and performance was the best in that, followed by Rita, followed by Scarlett. In the final lip sync, however, I think Scarlett had the best performance. If they were going to give the crown just based on that final lip sync, well then the crown and scepter would have belonged to Scarlett, no question. I also did an exclusive reaction to both the final lip sync and the You Wear It Well remix, both of which are available exclusively on my Patreon with the rest of my deleted videos, so go check those out if you want to hear more about what I thought on those. I'm gonna pass on hot or riding the judges tonight because, girl, we have talked enough about them and I'm glad we can just move on and sweep all that under the rug. However, one final thought. Has anyone ever used the word queero? It sounded almost like JVC was like throwing out insults and he was like, we're a bunch of queeros. I was like, I'm not gonna take that title. I'm not gonna be a queero. I don't like that one. Not for me. I don't know. What did you guys think about him saying that? Are we queeros or are we human? As for my hottest on the runway tonight, it goes to Jimbo. I have never been more impressed by a queen consistently throughout the entire show on the runway. I mean, a couple slip-ups, but when she wasn't slipping up, she was on top of the competition. Good God. I also ask my patrons every single week to vote for their hottest hot on the runway, and this week they've chosen Priyanka. My channel is made possible by my generous patrons who get things like early access, their name and credits, personal shoutouts, and access to all of my deleted and exclusive videos. You can join them over on patreon.com/BussyQueen. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Alex, Blythe, Caroline, Catherine, Chris, Crystal, Curtis, Daniel, Derek, Ed, Alan, Elizabeth, Hannah, Hassan, Ivan, James, Janine, Joseph, Kevin, kind of emo, kind of white girl, Manny, Maxwell, Michael, Michelle, Miguel, Onion Fairy, Oscar V, Oscar D, Terry, Tori, Rick, Robin, Stephanie, Susan, Tacosita, Timotheus, Vanessa, Veronica, Zincat, and Midnight 19, who are all supporting me at the hot tier. Bradley, Cameron, Craig, Evan, Glenn, Kiki, and John, Jenny, Mike, Sailor, Shannon, Sunshine, and Tina, who are all supporting me at the hottest hot tier, and Kevin, Marty, Matthew, and Tom, who are all supporting me at the Bussy Queen Collector tier. Don't forget to press a like if you enjoyed this video and hit subscribe if you want more Bussy in your life. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love ya. Bye.